Hello class, today I will be teaching about occupational health disorders, and this class is for BSc third years, medical surgical nursing. So let us see with the occupational health. Okay, so our main aim is to promote and maintain the highest degree of mental, physical and social well-being of all the workers who are working in any industry or factories or in any occupation. So the prevention among workers of departures from health caused by their working conditions. So we have to prevent any accidents or any disease condition which will be caused by the occupation as well. Next, the protection of workers in their employment from risk resulting from factors adverse to the health. So that is the basic definition of occupational health. So the main aim is to promote and maintain their physical, mental and social well-being while working in any occupation or they are an employee in any industry or factory. Next, there are some hazards or there are some factors which leads to occupational disorders, and these are some hazards or there are some factors. Okay, the dangerous factors. Okay, so these are some of the hazards, that is physical hazard, chemical hazard, biological hazard, mechanical hazard and psychological hazards. So these are some 5 important occupational hazards that can impact the employee working in an industry or working in an office or working in a factory. So let us see what are these hazards all about. First, we'll start with the physical hazard. So physically, okay, so like heat and cold, okay, heat and cold, light, noise, vibration, ultraviolet radiation and ionizing radiation. So employees or workers working in factories, okay, for example, working in steel factories or working in any factories that is dealing with heat, okay, or any machine factories, okay, building up of cars and all that. So in such factories, what happens is these patients will be exposed to heat, okay, and this heat can injure their health. Okay, maybe they can get burnt or they can get scalding or any other disease condition. Okay, so so heat is also very important. Then cold. People working in cold countries like Antarctica, Arctic Ocean. Okay, so these also they can impact the health of the workers. Then light. Okay, light also is one of the important factor. Noise pollution also. Okay, too much of noise also can have a defect in their ear. Then vibration also, ultraviolet rays and ionizing radiation. So these are some of the physical hazards or the factors which comes under physical hazard. Next, okay, so like I said that heat. Okay, so heat, there are 2 effects, direct effects and indirect effects. So the direct effects are like burns. Okay, a worker is getting in contact with the heat directly, so patient will get burns or heat exhaustion or heat stroke or heat cramps. Okay, and the indirect effects are decreased efficiency, meaning that they will not be able to work up to their maximum level. Next, increased fatigue, they will be tired. Okay, they will be tired and not feeling going to work. Okay, then third is enhanced accident rate. There will be an increase in the accidents. Okay, there can be chances for any other accidents. So these are the effects of heat. Now coming to cold. Okay, so cold, what will patients have if they are exposed to cold, or what will the workers will be having? Now one is chilblains. Okay, so chilblains, most of us we have chilblains, especially in winter season. Okay, so what happens, this is example of chilblains. You can see, okay, so these are the toes. Okay, they are being red and swollen. Okay, so here also. Okay, so this is a chilblain, for example. Next, erythrocyanosis. Okay, where here there will be cyanosed, immersion foot, frostbite. Okay, frostbite is also very important, and general hypothermia. Okay, so these are some of the effects when the worker is being exposed to a cold hazard. Next, light. So the acute effects of poor illumination are eye strain. So if proper lighting is not there in the office, or it is not there in the factories, then they will have to strain their eyes, then they will have headache, eye pain, lacrimation, congestion around the cornea, eye fatigue, meaning that the eyes will be tired and they will be having you know there will be pain also. Then chronic effects of health include minus nystagmus. So these are some of the effects of poor lighting in the workplace or office or any factory or industries. Next, noise. So it is auditory effect and non-auditory effect. So it has two effects. One is auditory effect, temporary or permanent hearing loss. Okay, so these workers working in airports, okay, or working in places where there is too much of noise pollution. So it can affect their hearing, affect their ears, and that can lead to temporary or permanent hearing loss. Next is non-auditory effects. So patient will be having nervousness, fatigue, interference with communication by speech. So they will not be able to hear or not able to communicate with one another because of the noise pollution. And decreased efficiency. Okay, they will not be able to work maximum up to their level, highest level, and annoyance, meaning they will be annoyed, irritated because of the noise. Okay, loud noise. So that is the effects of noise. Next, vibration. Exposure to vibration may also produce injuries to the joints, okay, like elbows and shoulders. So too much of vibration. So workers working in factories where they have to use the machines which requires vibration. So because of this, okay, when they have to cut any plywood or any steel or any other materials, when they have to cut by using this machine, okay, so the vibrations will affect their hands, that is their joints, will affect their elbows, they will affect their shoulders, okay, and also affect the other parts of the body. So vibration also is one of the important hazards. Next is the ultraviolet radiation. So ultraviolet radiation, it causes many effects on the body, that is, it can lead to conjunctivitis or keratitis. Then ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation is very, very dangerous as it leads to genetic changes, any changes in the genes, okay, any defect in the gene can lead to further genetic disease conditions. Congenital deformities also can take place because of changes in the genes. Next, malformation, any abnormality, cancer, leukemia, depilation, ulceration, sterility. Sterility meaning that they will not, that the females or the males, they will not be able to reproduce any children. So that can lead to infertility. And in extreme cases, it can cause death. So ionizing radiation is one of the deadly hazards, okay, of physical. So coming to the chemical hazard. So we are done with the physical hazards. Now coming to the chemical hazard. So it consists of local action, ingestion, and inhalation. Okay, ingestion meaning swallowing, inhalation meaning breathing in the chemicals, and local action meaning exposure or physical exposure to the chemicals. So let us see the chemical hazards. Okay, first is local action. Okay, so when a worker is being exposed to any chemicals, okay, first for example in a factory, okay, drug factory where they produce all these medicines. Okay, so suppose a person is the worker, okay, the employee there is touching any chemicals. Okay, so they will have dermatitis, okay, inflammation of the skin. They will have eczema, they will have ulcers, and probably cancer by primary irritant action. So local action means that they are exposed to the chemicals physically. Now chemical hazard, inhalation, by inhaling. Okay, so as you can see, dust, gases, or metal and their compounds. So because of these also, okay, so patient will have they will affect their body. Okay, so chemicals like in the form of dust or gases or metals and their compounds. Next, ingestion. Ingestion meaning swallowing or taking in of chemicals. So occupational disease may result from ingestion of chemical substances such as lead or mercury, arsenic, zinc, chromium, cadmium, and phosphorus. So taking in or swallowing of these chemicals also can lead to chemical hazards. Next, biological hazard. Okay, so we are done with physical hazard, we are done with chemical hazard. Now coming to the third one is biological hazard. So biological hazard meaning exposure of the body to virus, bacteria, fungi, parasite. Okay, so patients will be having these disease conditions, that is brucellosis, leptospirosis, anthrax, hydatidosis, tetanus, encephalitis, fungal infection, schistosomiasis, and a host of others. So biological hazards, we are dealing with the microorganisms. And the last is mechanical hazards. Okay, so when we are dealing with mechanically, okay, we're dealing with the any uh, any material. So that is mechanical hazard. Okay, so whenever there is in every factory or in any industry, there always this warning like tip over hazard. Do not move this equipment without mechanical assistance. Okay, so suppose these equipments are very heavy, or they are very, they are managed by 2 people or 3 people. So what happens is if a person is trying to take one of these equipments which are very heavy, so these equipments can fall on the patient and can cause him death or cause him injury. So these are some of the mechanical hazards. Next is psychosocial hazard. Psychosocial hazard dealing with the neurological system. Okay, so factors which affect health like frustration. Okay, too much of work in the office, too many, too many things we have to do in the office. Okay, then that can lead to frustration. Suppose a nurse working in a hospital. Okay, she is doing morning duty. She is also doing evening duty. So morning and evening duty for 1 week. So that can cause her frustration, lack of job satisfaction, not satisfied with the job. Okay, so these are some of the health conditions. Next, insecurity. Okay, working too much and not getting paid proper amount of money. Okay, or they're working too much for the job, but the work is not good enough. So that can lead to insecure. Then poor human relationships. So, like for example, the boss and the employee. Okay, so if there is no interaction, if there's no uh, rapport between the two of them, there is no good interaction or good communication between the two of them, that can also lead to poor human relationships. And last is emotional tension. Okay, so these are some of the factors that affects the health. Next, psychosocial hazard. The health effects can be classified into psychological and behavioral changes and psychosomatic ill health. Okay, so because of these psychosocial hazards, okay, it can affect the psychological and behavior. So as a like behavior changes in the patient, in the person, okay, and changes in the health body. Now coming to the occupational diseases. So this is very important. Okay, we have come to the important part of the topic today. That is occupational diseases. Diseases due to physical agent. Okay, that is heat, cold, light, pressure, noise, radiation, mechanical factors, and electricity. These are some of the diseases like I've taught you. Okay, so these are some of the diseases that can be caused by physical agent. Now, occupational diseases due to chemical agent like gases, dust. Okay, dust can cause pneumoconiosis. Okay, dust is categorized into two, that is inorganic dust, which consists of coal, dust, silica, asbestos, and iron. So these are inorganic dust. Okay, and organic like vegetable dust. Okay, so they like cane, sugarcane fibers, cotton dust. Okay, tobacco, hay or grain dust. So these are organic dust. Coal, silica, asbestos, iron, these are inorganic dust. So there are two classification of dust. Okay. Next, metal and their compounds like lead, mercury, cadmium, manganese, beryllium, arsenic, chromium. So some of these diseases are because of these chemical agents as well. Then chemicals like acid, alkalis, pesticides. So these, because of these agents also, they can cause disease condition. And solvents like carbon bisulfide, chloroform, or benzene. Okay, so these are some of the chemical agents that can lead to health disease condition in a worker or in a patient. Next, occupational disease due to biological agents. So like I said, tetanus, anthrax, brucellosis, fungal infection, leptospirosis, encephalitis. So these are some of the diseases due to biological agent. Occupational cancer, cancer of the lungs, cancer of the skin, and cancer of the bladder. Next, occupational dermatosis, that dermatosis dealing with the skin. Okay, so patient will have dermatitis or eczema. That is, skin will be inflamed, there will be rashes, pain, redness. Okay. Next, diseases of the psychological origin. Okay, so because of psychological hazards, patient will have industrial neurosis or hypertension or septic ulcers. So these are some of the occupational diseases due to the agents or the hazards. Now we'll go to pneumoconiosis. Okay, so I have taught you in class regarding this pneumoconiosis. So just a revision about it. So dust within the range of 0.5 micron. Just see the range, okay, of the dust, that is 0.5 micron to 3 micron is a health hazard producing. After a variable period of exposure, it produces lung disease, which is known as pneumoconiosis. Okay, so the dust, okay, so like it can be organic or it can be inorganic dust. So if the size of these dust ranges between 0.5 to 3 micron, okay, so it produces lung disease, okay, which is known as pneumoconiosis, and it makes gradually cripple a man by reducing his work capacity due to lung fibrosis or other complications. So because of this lung disease, it will not able to make the workers work up to the maximum level, up to the maximum potential. Okay, so their work will not be that good as compared to before because of the disease condition. Okay, so this pneumoconiosis also can lead to it can lead to lung fibrosis and other complications. Okay, so pneumoconiosis, there are these disease conditions. Okay, the lung disease conditions are as follows. Number one is silicosis, anthracosis, byssinosis, bagasosis, asbestosis, and farmer's lung. So let us see what are these occupational lung diseases which are known as pneumoconiosis. First, we will start with silicosis, silica. Okay, so the responsible dust here is silica. So it is caused by inhalation of dust containing free silica or silicon dioxide. So if a worker is inhaling silica, so patient will have silicosis, and after doing an X-ray, a snowstorm appearance will be appeared in the X-ray. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, so it's like a snow. White features will be present here. So this is silicosis. Next, anthracosis. It is caused by inhalation of dust containing coal. Okay, so people working in coal mining. Okay, the workers. Okay, so known as coal miners. So if they inhale the coal dust, okay, so they will have this disease condition known as anthracosis. So the first phase is called simple pneumoconiasis, which is associated with a little impairment. And the second phase is characterized by progressive massive fibrosis. So these workers working in coal mining, if they inhale the coal, they will be having two phases. One is called simple pneumoconiasis, meaning that they will have respiratory problems, but not so complicated. And the second phase, which is a complicated stage, where there will be fibrosis, progressive massive fibrosis, where there will be excessive mucus production. Patient will have difficulty in breathing, okay, and it affects there will be inflammation in the lungs. So that is called anthracosis. Next, bicyanosis. Bicyanosis, workers if they inhale cotton fiber for a long period of time. People working in cotton textile, cotton factories. So if they inhale cotton fiber dust, then they will develop this disease condition known as bicyanosis. The symptoms are chronic cough, progressive dyspnea, chronic bronchitis, and emphysema. So this is bicyanosis. Next, bagasosis. Bagasosis is inhaling bagasse. Bagasse is another name for sugarcane. So if people workers working in sugarcane factories, okay, if they inhale the sugarcane dust, then they will develop bagasosis. Bagasosis has been shown due to thermophilic actinomyces, for which the name, okay. So they will develop these signs and symptoms known as these are breathlessness, cough, hemoptysis, and slight fever. So these are some of the signs and symptoms of bagasosis. Next, asbestosis, with the word asbestos. Okay, so if a worker is inhaling asbestos dust, then they will develop asbestosis. It is of two types, serpentine or chrysolite variety, and the second is amphibole type. So there are two types of asbestos. One is serpentine and the second is amphibole type. Okay, so this disease is characterized by dyspnea. Okay, patient will have difficulty in breathing. Patient will have clubbing of fingers, cardiac distress. Okay, they will have dysrhythmias. Then they will have cyanosis because because of the lung disease, therefore the oxygen will not be able to enter into the lungs properly and into the bodies. Then the sputum will show asbestos bodies. Okay, after the test, the diagnostic test. Okay, so the sputum culture test will be performed and X-ray. So in the sputum culture test, they will show asbestos bodies, and if a patient has done X-ray, then it will show ground glass appearance in the lower 2/3 of the lung field. Okay, so in the lower lungs, there will be formation of ground glass appearance. So this is called asbestosis. Next is the farmer's lung. Farmer's lung is due to inhalation of grain dust or moldy hair. So like the name farmer. Okay, so workers or farmers working in the farms, okay, if they inhale these grain dust or if they inhale any of these moldy dust, then they can develop farmer's lung disease. So that was about the occupational lung disease. Now coming to occupational cancer. Occupational cancer, so like skin cancer. Okay, these workers will develop skin cancer if what type of workers will develop skin cancer? They are gas workers, oil refiners working in oil industries, then tar distillers and oven workers. So these workers will develop skin cancer. Then lung cancer, workers working in gas industry, nickel and chromium work, mining of radioactive substances also can develop lung cancer. Next, bladder cancer, workers working in dyeing industries, okay, where we dye our clothes, okay. Then rubber industries, gas and electrical cable industries. So workers working in these industries can develop bladder cancer. Next, leukemia. Okay, so workers which are exposed to benzol or raw engine rays or radioactive substances, they can develop leukemia. So these are occupational cancer. So we have done with occupational lung disease, or call it as pneumoconiosis, and we have also done on occupational cancer. Now coming to occupational dermatitis. Okay, so the causes are physical, chemical, biological, and plant. So worker is exposed to any excessive heat or excessive cold, okay, or vibration. Okay, so they can develop occupational dermatitis. And chemicals, okay, exposed to any chemicals, acids, alkalis. Then biological, okay, if the body is only having allergies, okay, then they can also develop occupational dermatitis and plant products. Next, health problem due to industrialization. So because of industries, okay, workers will have some health problems, okay, and these are environmental sanitation problems. Okay, so the environment is not properly maintained, the bathroom is not clear, or there's no proper there's no proper ventilation in the office, so they can develop these problems. Next, communicable disease. Suppose a colleague or a friend of yours in the office is having HIV or is having any lung disease like TB or any other disease condition or any other communicable disease. So you can ultimately develop one of these communicable disease. Then food sanitation, proper food is not being given to the workers. Okay, then mental health, okay, too much of workload or too much of work, too much of pressure being given by the boss. Okay, so these also affect the mental health. Then accidents and social problems and morbidity and mortality. So these are some of the health problems due to industrialization. Next, what are the measures to promote health? Okay, for the workers, number one is nutrition. Nutrition should be promoted. Okay, proper nutrition should be taken, and health education regarding nutrition should be given to the workers. Next, communicable disease control, environmental sanitation, mental health, measures for women and children, okay, health education and family planning. So these are some of the measures for promotion of health for workers. Next, prevention of occupational disease, medical measures, and there are engineering measures as well. So let us see what the medical measures. Okay, so pre-placement examination. Okay, like every 3 months or every 6 months, all the workers should be examined. Okay, physical exam should be done. Okay, their blood pressure should be taken, their temperature should be taken. Okay, then any blood test can be performed. Then periodical examination like every month or every week. Okay, examination of the workers should be done. Next, medical and healthcare services. Medical and healthcare services should be provided to the workers any time during the office work. They are having fever, they are fainted, or they are having any dizziness or feeling of weakness. So healthcare services are being provided to them. Then notification. Okay, supervision of working environment. The boss also should not only pressurize the workers, but they should also supervise them. Next, maintenance and analysis of record. Okay, so all the medical records of the workers should be recorded properly, and before any giving work to any workers, we should get their medical records. Whether the patient is a TB or whether the patient is having any communicable disease, then we should not give them work within the office environment. Next, health education and counseling should be done to the workers. Next, prevention of occupational disease, engineering measures. Design of a building. So the building of the office, okay, the architectural structure should be very good so as to prevent any damage or any destruction of the building. Next, good housekeeping. Okay, sanitation should be maintained within the office. Okay, proper bathroom should be, and proper every day the floors should be cleaned, and the walls and the windows should be clean. Okay, dusting should be done every day by the housekeeping members. So that is good housekeeping. Next, general ventilation. There should be proper ventilation. Okay, there should be AC. Okay, should not be too hot, should not be too cold. Next, mechanization. Okay, so proper equipment being used in the office or industries should be proper. There should not be loose screws or any. There should not be any deformed equipment or mechanicals that is being used. And substitution. Suppose equipment is not working, then there should be another equipment to substitute. Next, what is the role of occupational health nurse? Manager, coordinator, advisor, health educator, counselor, and researcher. Next, role of occupational health nurse as a clinician. Okay, so primary prevention, emergency care should be given to the patient, treatment services, nursing diagnosis should be maintained, general health advice, health assessment, research, and the use of evidence-based practice. So as a clinician nurse, Okay, so occupational health nurse should maintain these factors. Next, as a specialist, rehabilitation, maintenance of workability, health and safety, hazard identification, risk assessment, and advice on control strategies. Next, occupational health policy and practice development, implementation, and evaluation. These should be maintained. Occupational health assessment, health surveillance, and sickness absence management. So, as a specialist nurse, okay, occupational health nurse specialist, so we have to maintain these factors. So we have come to the end of the topic for today, that is on occupational health. Okay, so we have done what are the hazards. Okay, what are the hazards? Okay, what are the occupational lung disease conditions? What are the occupational other occupational health disorders like cancer or occupational dermatitis? Okay, and what are the preventive measures that have to be taken? And as a nurse, what are the prevention and management have to be taken? So that is all. Thank you.